Welcome back to yet another episode of Before You Summon. We return to normalcy after the Vivid Bad Squad World Link event with our first unit-focused event of the year. Taking the stage is WonderlandxShowtime with Backlight Lens Flare that will run from January 23rd to January 29th. This is a marathon event in the Happy attribute, and because it is a WonderlandxShowtime unit-focused event, we will have a commissioned song. The commissioned song is Cyberpunk Dead Boy that will be released on January 23rd and granted to you through your in-game mailbox. But with that being said, Cyberpunk Dead Boy will arrive with a Sekai version as well as a virtual singer version on launch. And later, a Rui and a Rin alternative vocals will be added to the game around December 20th, 2025. So if you're a massive Rui fan or a Rin fan, you have something to look forward to towards Christmas this year. As for the event story, the spotlight is this time around pointed at Rui. With it being a WonderlandxShowtime unit-focused event, the rest of the unit will be supporting him, with WonderlandxShowtime Rin taking the virtual singer slot. And the synopsis reads as follows. The next challenge for WonderlandxShowtime is to become extras in a movie. Everyone was eager to act and express themselves through a camera for the first time, including Rui, who was excited to learn a new genre in directing. However, following the event, we will of course see an afterlife that will run between the 29th and the 30th of January. Participating in the virtual live during the allotted time will grant you 300 crystals as well as a stamp. The stamp this time around of Rui called What on Earth Could Have Caused This? And of course, released with the event is another virtual live accessory, this time in the form of another headpiece. The headpiece this time around is of a drink and a lunchbox. And if you want to pick up this headgear for your virtual live avatar, it will either cost 3000 virtual tokens or 1000 crystals to pick it up from the virtual live shop. And of course, running alongside the event is the event gacha called Punk Night Tokyo. The gacha will run from January 23rd to January 31st. And since this is a marathon event, it means that this is a permanent gacha, meaning that all of the cards available in this gacha will enter the standard gacha pool once the event ends. And of course, we have 3 new cards in the gacha, starting with our focus character Rui and his card Overheard Words.
バクノさんに合わせて作る
Rui is a Perfect Locker skilled card with the skill name Honorary Credit Roll, and Perfect Locker skilled cards will change all bad or higher tabs into perfect for 5.5 seconds and grant an 80% score bonus for 5 seconds at talent level 1. And once you get Rui's card, you will also get his new costume called Intruder R. And our second character in the gacha is Nene with her card Gotten Used to the Preparations.
差し入れってこれで全部だっけ
Nene is a healer skilled card with the skill name A Bond Formed from Movies, and healer skilled cards will recover 350 life and grant an 80% score bonus for 5 seconds at talent level 1. And the new costume coming with Nene's card is called Hacker N. Our final member of the gacha is Rin with her card Illuminated by the Screen.
だって面白いんだもん
Rin is also a Perfect Locker skill card, meaning that she shares the exact same skill text as Rui, with her skill name being Showing My Support. And the final new costume added with this gacha is called Observer R. Of course, also arriving with the event are 2 exchange shop cards. Taking the 2-star slot, we have Emu with her card Movie Watch Party with Everyone. Emu is also a Perfect Locker skilled card in the Cute attribute. This of course means that Tsukasa takes the 3-star slot with his card Meat is a Source of Power. Tsukasa is also of the Cute attribute and is a scorer skill card with the skill name Even Admiring the Flowers is a Challenge. Both of these cards will become available once the event event opens for the standard exchange shop prices. But that covers all of the general information you need to know about the event Backlight Lens Flare, so instead we can move over to the event team building of this event. And of course, since it is the Wonderland Showtime unit in the happy attribute, we have one massive asterisk to point out. With the removal of Revival My Dream from the English server, there are 4 cards that are missing from the event team building for the global players. Rui, Emu, and Nene are all lacking a 4-star card from this event, while Tsukasa is lacking his 3-star card that was available through the exchange shop of this event. As always, my videos are not made to discuss the legitimacy of removing both the cards and the event Revival My Dream from the English server. Just know that due to reasons, this event was specifically cancelled only on the global server. This means that all Taiwanese and Korean players still have these cards available to them during the event team building. So if you play on those servers, you can keep these cards in mind while we go through the event team building, but I will not mention them further. Just know that they are fully missing from the global server. And remember that the gacha cards released with this event will have the 70% baseline bonus for being the focus cards of the event. And also keep in mind the event bonus changes made to birthday cards and 4-star cards with the 3rd anniversary, as I will not mention them further going into the event team building. With that said, let's start with the focus character of the event, Rui, who has 4 available cards. This includes his 2-star card Brand New Style that was released with the 3rd anniversary 2-star set, as well as his 3-star card from the release celebration gacha. He also has 2 available 4-star cards, 1 permanent and 1 limited. His limited card was released with the event An Unmissable Spirited Affair, while his permanent card comes from the event Full Power Wonder Halloween. Moving on to our second gacha character, Nene has 5 available cards with a 50% bonus. This includes 2 2-star cards, the first one being released with the event Amidst the Dream Towards a Shining Star, while the second one was released with the event A Story Where You Are the Star. Her 3-star card was released with the event Pop in My Heart, and she also has 2 permanent 4-star cards. Her first 4-star card was released with the event Desperate Times Island Panic, while the second one was released with the event Our Happy Ending, that is also known as the second arc ender for Wonderland Showtime. Keeping up the unit pattern, we have Emu, who also has 5 available cards with a 50% bonus. This includes her 2-star card from the event Mesmerized by Mermaids, her 3-star card from the event Weaving Precious Memories with You, as well as 3 4-star cards, 1 limited, 2 permanents. Her limited 4-star card comes from the event Operation Secret Valentine, while her first permanent 4-star card comes from the event Desperate Times Island Panic, and her second one from the event Our Happy Ending, just like Nene. This leaves us with our final unit member being Tsukasa, who has 6 available cards. This includes his 1-star card from the release of the game, as well as his 2-star card from the event Smile of a Dreamer. Tsukasa has no 3-star card and 3 4-star cards available, 1 limited, 2 permanent. His limited 4-star card comes from the event Unmissable Spirited Affair, while his first permanent card comes from the event Full Power Wonder Halloween, and his second one comes from the event Desperate Times Island Panic. Finally, Tsukasa's 6th and final card is a bonus card in the form of his happy birthday card from the first year. And that leaves us with the Virtual Singers, and while Rin is the focused Virtual Singer of the event, since this is a unit focused event, all Virtual Singers in the Wonderland Showtime unit can grant the 50% bonus, granted that they are the correct attribute for the event being happy. With this in mind, there are 8 cards available with a 50% bonus for the Virtual Singers. This includes 2 2-star cards, being the WonderlandxShowtime Miku from the release celebration gacha, as well as the WonderlandxShowtime Kaito from the brand new world set released with the 3rd anniversary. We also have 3 3-star cards, including the Len from Smile of a Dreamer, the Kaito from the event Mesmerized by Mermaids, and the Meiko from the event Desperate Times Island Panic. Finally, there are 3 4-star cards available for the Virtual Singers. 1 is limited, 2 are permanent. The limited card comes in the form of Kaito from the event connected through Sekai's Cherry Blossoms, also known as the 1.5 anniversary. Our first permanent event, on the other hand, is also Kaito from the event Full Power Wonder Halloween, while our second permanent card comes in the form of Meiko from the event Our Happy Ending. And because this is a unit-focused event, all Virtual Singers that are blank or unitless can grant the 40% bonus as long as they are in the correct attribute, being happy. This gives us an additional 8 cards with a 40% bonus, and rapid firing through them they include the 1-star Len from the release of the game, the Twin Servant from 7 Deadly Sins, as well as the Slothful Sleepless Widow also from the 7 Deadly Sins. Both the Happy Anniversary card from the first year for Miku and Luca, as well as the Happy Anniversary card for Len from the second year. The Meiko Origin Style from the 3rd anniversary 2-star pack, and finally Rin featuring Twin Little Stars from Sanrio. As for Asterixes, the 3-star Emu from the event Weaving Precious Memories with You and the 2-star Nene from the event A Story Where You Are the Star has not yet entered the standard gacha pool as of recording this. So these cards will be completely unavailable to you if you did not play during their events. It's also worth mentioning that the Rui and the Kaito from the brand new world set released with the 3rd anniversary are still quite new, and they were directly added into the gacha pool, so you might not have them in your collection just yet. And WonderlandxShowtime in the happy attribute keeps being a case of it's really weird. With the introduction of the WonderlandxShowtime Arkender, our happy ending, as well as the limited cards from the event Unmissable Spirited Affair, the roster actually looks a lot better than it did our last time we had a happy WonderlandxShowtime event. Things such as the brand new style cards, as well as the 3-star Emu from the event Weaving Precious Memories with You also really help the situation. Despite this, Rui is still very weak when it comes to the happy attribute and can be very hard to fit into your event team building if you don't have the specific permanent card from the first year. At the same time, Our Happy Memory is a very recent event and Unmissable Spirited Affair is a limited event, meaning that you might still have a very poor selection of cards for WonderlandxShowtime in the happy attribute if you did not pull from these 2 gachas specifically. And while I will not talk about Revival My Dreams removal or if it was correct or incorrect for Sega to do so, I will say that purely from a gameplay standpoint, the removal of the WonderlandxShowtime cards connected to Revival My Dream has been detrimental to the event team building for happy WonderlandxShowtime events on the global server. So my final verdict on the event team building of Revival My Dream is that it is a rather mediocre one. There is definitely a better selection with the additions we've had during 2024 to the happy attribute of WonderlandxShowtime, but the removal of Revival My Dream can still be felt. So while optimal event team building for late game players can be rather difficult, I do think that this event is pretty new player friendly. Available in the standard gacha pool is 5 3-star cards as well as 6 2-star cards, even if Rui and Kaito are rather new. So it's definitely not the worst event team building I've ever seen, especially not for new and mid-game players, but optimizing the team with 4-star selections if you are a late game player can be a lot more difficult because of our situation with the 4-star cards. But I think that covers the event team building very well, so instead we can look towards the future usability of these cards. And the problems with this event keep stacking up. None of the gacha characters, meaning Rui, Nene or Rin, has seen any future usability as it currently stands on the Japanese server. which isn't too weird to think about when we consider the unit focus aspect of these cards, as we did have a Happy Attribute WonderlandxShowtime event quite recently in the form of the Arcane There Are Happy Ending. Still, this means that they have a lower gameplay value, as you will not be able to use them in any upcoming event as it currently stands. As for the exchange shop cards, both Emu and Tsukasa are of the cute attribute and therefore sees used together in the event Perspective for Smile that will run from the 23rd of May to the 29th of May. Perspective for Smile is of course a WonderlandxShowtime unit focused event with Emu, Tsukasa and Len in the gacha, meaning that both the Emu and the Tsukasa from the exchange shop of Backlight Lens Flare is of lower gameplay value. And with there being so little future usability for the cards in this event, I really don't have much more to say, so we can instead look towards the future new limited costumes for Rui, Nene and Rin. And the situation doesn't get much better when it comes to new limited costumes. Our first character to get a new limited costume is Nene during the event Wedding Live with Everyone that will run from the 30th of May to the 8th of June. In this event is Nene, Minori and WonderlandxShowtime Luca. The second and final event where any one of these three characters get a new limited costume is Put Your Heart Into It Dream Stage. And this event is more commonly known as 4th Anniversary. It will run from the 30th of September to the 10th of October. And of course the event is tied to a Bloom Festival, with the two Bloom Festival exclusive characters being Rui and Rin. Therefore, Rui and Rin will only be available until October 4th, while the event cast includes Nene, Shiho, Airi and Toya. And because of this, Nene will of course be available during the full event duration instead. But these are the only new costumes we have seen for Rui, Rin and Nene, so you really don't have a lot of options when it comes to these characters. Transitioning over to the reruns, we do have a few more options than new limited costumes. And the second Recollection Festival has started on January 17th on the Japanese server, with Sega announcing a few changes to how the Recollection Festival work. I will make a video outlining how the new Recollection Festival works when it arrives in January of 2026 on the EN server. But the first Recollection Festival that we will see on Global in August of this year will still work how I outlined it in my Recollection Festival guide. And despite changes to how the Recollection Festival gacha work, any limited gacha will still be discontinued after their second rerun. So the rule still remains that any limited gacha's second rerun will be the final chance you have to pull on that gacha as a standalone gacha before the cards join the Recollection Festival card pool. So with that in mind, let's rapid fire through your options for rerunning gachas with Rui, Rin and Nene. And first and foremost, Smile of a Dreamer is still ongoing when this video is posted and will be available until January 25th. This is your final chance to pull on this gacha before the cards enter the Recollection Festival. In February, we will see our first rerun of Sweet Cute Valentine, with the final rerun confirmed for September 2025. This is followed by the first rerun of Imperial Soldiers in March, who also has its final rerun alongside Sweet Cute Valentine in September. After that, we will see the final rerun of The Naive Voice That Cries Out to You in April. Also having its final rerun is Darkness Festa, which is going on in June. In July, we will see the first rerun of the City of Spirits gacha, with the final rerun already confirmed for January 2026. In July is also the final rerun of Cyber Snipe. As this video is being published, the New Year's Divine Beast has just left the gacha pool and will be back for its second and final rerun in August of this year. This is followed by the first rerun of the Musical March gacha in September, which does not have a second rerun yet confirmed. And the final gacha having a rerun with one of these characters, as we currently have seen on the Japanese server, is Your Ticket to the City of Splendor in December. This gacha does not yet have its second rerun confirmed either on the Japanese server. So the selection of gachas with these three characters being rerun is definitely better than our new limited costumes, but it still isn't an amazing selection. Still, seeing as most of these gachas has their final rerun date already confirmed or coming up, I would suggest that you mark the date and make sure to plan your crystals accordingly so you can pull from the gacha before it disappears into the recollection festival. But with that, we have arrived at our final question. Should you participate in the Backlight lens flare event, and should you pull from the Punk Night Tokyo gacha? As always, the short answer is yes. If you love these cards, you should definitely pull from the gacha, and you should always participate in every event to pick up the great rewards you can get from it. But if you're on the fence, if you really want to pull from this gacha, there are a few things we can point out. Of course, with this being a permanent event, it will be easier to get these cards through other means sooner or later if you do not feel like you have the funds available to pull from the gacha right now. The lack of any future usability also dampens the value of this gacha quite heavily, as these cards will not see future use after this event, and if you have a great team with happy attribute cards for WonderlandxShowtime already, these cards will not be as important. On the other hand, I think that the card art for this set is quite amazing, with a lot of funky ideas, and the costumes actually look very cool, with the face mask for Rui being his unique accessory being super unique for a 3D model in this game. And as I keep reiterating, you should never pull from a gacha because of their rarity or their future usability in a gameplay sense. Your pulls in Project Sekai should always be from a standpoint of which cards you like the most and which sets have the most sentimental value for you. So it always comes down to which set in Project Sekai that you find most valuable. Though I have one final question for this event. Why is it always Rui? So, in the comments, tell me what you think about Backlight Lens Flare. Do you think it's a great event and I'm not giving it enough credit, or do you feel like it's kind of a filler event with some great story? I always try to read every comment, but I have fallen quite a bit behind as I got over 1,000 comments during the last 28 days, and I have been taking a little bit of a break as I have felt a little bit burned out. And while you're down there, it would be a great help if you could leave a like, make sure you're subscribed, and share this video with a friend. We're soon hitting 20,000 subscribers, which is just insane to me that I've been able to grow this big in what feels like a very short amount of time. And as always, I want to extend a thank you to all of my Patreons supporting me over at Patreon. With an extra big and warm thank you to all of my append players supporting me a little bit extra, being Ollie, Charlie, Katie, Mia Marie 21, Opal Siren, Petterish, Ron Maru, Shoop, Snobby Hickory, and Veritas Uwu. I really do think that I underappreciate and undervalue all of you, so I hope that the sincerity in my thank you can come across to all of you that are willing to support me a little bit extra. And if you want to help support me a little bit extra, the link to my Patreon will be down in the description. But with that, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I will not keep you here any longer. Let's get out of here for the week.